What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're gonna dive right in today. All right. We're back at it again for a brand new episode of Dot Connect Wednesdays. This is episode 90. All right. The golden age emerges. Gold rising. It's a bunch of bold moves going on in the space. And this is crypto's next financial phase. So we're gonna dive into some good old dot connected information that's going on in the industry right now as a whole. And just gonna do what we do best, man. Steve, you got something you want to say before we get rocking?
Nah, you could jump right in.
All right, bet. All right, so guys, again, welcome back. This is episode 90. So one, I just want to give us a round of applause. You know what I mean? Y'all can turn it up in the chat. Everybody that's watching us live, today is our first time trying this. We're live on YouTube right now, streaming this as well. Give us some energy in the chat. All right. So this is episode 90, and it marks a pivotal chapter in the financial transition that we've been preparing for. So while retail has been super distracted, the global elites are repositioning. Traditional systems that have always existed, they're now being reshaped. The old power figures, the globalists, they're stepping down, they're moving out the way, and a new regime and new financial tools are quietly being rolled out, all designed to prepare each and every one of us for the hybrid economic system that is on its way. All right. This is where assets are going to rule, control is going to shift from centralization to decentralization. And tonight, we're going to break it all down. All right. So, a couple things that's on the agenda. Gold shattered a new high, all time high. We passed the 3,400 plus mark. China's rolling out ATMs that melt gold jewelry and convert it into fiat right there on the spot. And it's really deeper than it looks. All right. Klaus Schwab, for those of you who know who he is, he was the architect behind the World Economic Forum. He has just stepped down, closing the era of elite driven globalization. And then we got a couple major crypto giants, some titans, Coinbase, Circle, BitGo, and Paxos. They all are seeking banking licenses right now. All right. So this is more about not just headlines, but this is about the shift that's happening beneath the surface or behind the veil. All right. So I'm gonna open you guys' eyes up tonight and we're gonna talk about it. All right. So first things first, this is a new era for crypto at the SEC. All right. This is the biggest news that has happened, and I'm ultra excited right now because the tide has just turned. Paul Atkins, he is a crypto friendly guy. He used to be a former commissioner, but we'll get into that. He has officially taken the reins as the new SEC chairman, right? He was sworn in Monday, and it was a narrow decision, right? It was 52 to 44 Senate vote, but he replaces Gary Gensler and that whole administration. And this is a huge shift in US regulatory policy. All right. And this is going to usher in trillions of dollars. This is the moment we've been waiting for, and this is the start of the new phase. All right. So, for those of you who do not know who he is, I'll break it down for you. Why does this moment even matter? Why is this something that's huge and that's something we've been waiting for? All right. So, Paul S. Atkins, he's no stranger to financial policy or to Wall Street. So he previously served as the SEC commissioner from 2002 to 2008 under George W. Bush's administration. And while he was there, he took a deregulatory stance, right? He was opposed to overreach from the jump, and he gained a deep respect in the capital markets innovation side. So he's seasoned, he knows financial policy, and he's been around. He used to work for prominent law firms like Davis Polk and Wardwell, and he was the former SEC advisor for SEC Chair Richard Breeden. All right, so he's got a big background in legal expertise, market insights, just overall regulatory philosophy. So he's also not new to crypto. For those of you who do not know, he's already been involved in multiple blockchain just associations, period. So he was on the advisory board for several blockchain and fintech firms, including the Digital Chamber of Commerce. This is one of the biggest voices in the pro crypto regulation space in DC. All right, so he consulted with multiple blockchain startups on regulatory strategy, and he's just been vocal, right, about creating fair, innovation driven crypto policy. So this is something that we're going to actually expect, and we know we're going to achieve when he's in his new position. All right. So fingers crossed we don't have any repeats of anything that Gary Gensler and his regime did, because this is huge. Gary Gensler was a problem for everyone, for the entire industry in cryptocurrency, right? And he was very knowledgeable from the jump. So in the beginning, a lot of people were championing Gary Gensler, but now that he's out, we had years of a black cloud under that guy. He had more than 50 lawsuits filed against digital asset companies between just 2021 to 2024, right? And that, of course, includes the biggest lawsuit to date. That's the Ripple, Coinbase, Kraken. That guy created a lot of confusion, a lot of fear and stagnation in the United States capital markets and crypto markets. So his basic, I guess, premise of the whole time he was the chair was basically the industry. We see you guys out there performing. We see you guys building. Come on in. Let's have a talk. You guys should register. And as soon as they came in to register, they were hit with a lawsuit. Now, this caused a lot of innovation and a lot of companies to move overseas. They all went abroad. Billions and potentially trillions of dollars in capital moved from the United States and it went to Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong, etc. And a lot of the American developers who were working on a lot of these blockchains, they also were entrepreneurs that were starting up, just different companies and things like that for the industry. And they also went abroad. But now that we've got a crypto friendly and a pro crypto and pro blockchain SEC chairman, that era is officially over. All right. So there's a couple things that he's known for so far, right? And this is just something that I've been able to uncover just through watching his movements, hearing his live talks, and things like that. So one, he believes in clear rules, not enforcement by ambush, right? So that whole spill that I just gave you about what Gary Gensler was doing, that's out of here, right? This means we can expect formal rulemaking processes, public comments, and honest attempts to basically define what is and what's not a security. Two, he definitely supports innovation. So he's repeatedly spoken numerous times on big platforms about how digital assets could democratize finance, basically bringing in smart regulation to unlock a lot of money, a lot of capital formation for protecting us, the retail investors. And also, he's pro crypto. He's pro crypto, pro crypto. This is not speculation, right? He's distinguished beyond the pump and dump schemes and blockchain projects that solve real world problems, right? He knows how to identify those payment rails, the identities, the supply chains, energy sectors, etc. And he's advocating for them. So, alongside Trump, we're expected to get a lot of capital and a lot of jobs and a lot of innovation to come here. All right. But that remains to be seen. Last but not least, he understands the international playing field. So with Mika going live in the EU and Hong Kong embracing tokenization, Atkins knows that the U.S. can't afford to fall behind. So we're going to expect a lot more global alignment and clarity, right? We're already starting to see it. A lot of those places where the developers went to, those same countries are now trying to work with Trump and with this current administration, and they're already staking their claim. They're giving billions and trillions of dollars in capital, right, and investments. So, I just want to highlight there's three things that connects him to the crypto industry. First things first is the Digital Chamber of Commerce. So he advised on regulatory strategy. He worked with the FinTech Working Group that was in Washington, D.C. It was a big oversight group. This was for financial institutions who were implementing blockchain and distributed ledger technology. And he had like a lot of what do you call this? He had a lot of experience with legal matters when it came to the classification of tokens and the risk of stifling innovation. So now that we kind of know who his backstory is, how he operates, understand that there were some events that took place just this year. He's already met with the owners, the founders, the developers of Ripple, Circle, the Ethereum Foundation, right? On various industry forums. So this guy, he's a not a maximalist, right? He doesn't just support one particular token, but he's on record stating that the SEC's role is not to pick winners and losers, but basically they're going to provide a fair arena for responsible innovation. And that's exactly what we need. So, what I feel like now is what's going to happen is for the everyday investors, this is just going to be pivotal because this means that for the past 4 years, we were just always in the headlines when it came to cryptocurrency about lawsuits and the price getting crushed, scaring retail investors, slowing innovation, and institutional guys coming in, right? So I think now what we're going to see is, especially with Trump in office, this is just another catalyst for a lot of ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptocurrency projects. They're all going to get fast tracked. I can see a lot of stablecoin clarity happening under these current frameworks that they're already working with, and they're going to support USDC, RLUSD, and whomever else may emerge that's compliant. And that's the biggest factor right there. They have to be compliant. We're going to get altcoins getting clarity. As you see, they're already lining up these American-made cryptos. I don't need to go through that list, but you just know that the key players out of that, they're all here out of the United States. So this is why a lot of those other countries, they're all trying to pour in capital here because they see what the United States is already doing and they're moving at a rapid pace. And then last but not least, we gave you guys this heads up a long time ago. Real world asset tokenization, right? It is going to be booming and is going to be legally safe here in this environment as soon as we get that regulatory green light. All right. So I love it. I understand what's happening. I have a vision and foresight for what I believe is going to come to pass. And this time I have a lot of confidence in just understanding how these puzzle pieces are all connecting right now. I do know that the United States is re-entering the global race to become the capital of blockchain innovation. All right, nations like Singapore, the UAE, Switzerland, they've already rolled out the red carpet for crypto, but they lack one thing, and that's the one thing that the US has, and that's global financial dominance as of right now. All right, so with the SEC switching up their tone, banks, sovereign wealth institutions, they're all watching America right now. So I can easily see multiple trillions of dollars in capital inflows coming in, getting unlocked. All right, a lot of jobs, a lot of innovation, and infrastructure is now going to come back onshore. All right, so Paul Atkins definitely like what he's doing. He's a seasoned pro innovation regulator, and now he's in charge. So under this new leadership means new vision, finally we can possibly get a chance to really thrive. All right. So if you guys are building, investing, or just simply learning, this is the moment to actually double down. All right. Because this new era for digital assets in America, it just officially begun. All right. And I'm gonna connect a couple dots for you guys real quick before I move on. So I was looking and I'm like, out of sheer curiosity, I'm like, I want to lay this out and I want to show people who he is, what he does, his backstory, but also I want to connect some dots for the current. So, and when I mean current, I mean within the last 6 months. So, before we move on, Paul Atkins, new SEC chairman. Paul Atkins was on the advisory board of Securitize. Securitize works on securities tokenization with BlackRock and Ondo. And Ondo just launched Ondo Global Markets February 6th. Ondo Global Markets is going to be tokenizing stocks and bonds on chain, bridging the gap between TradeFi and DeFi. So this is cheers to .Connect 90 because I just gave you guys a lot of nuggets in the last 20 seconds. Do with that information what you will. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what I know. And I know this is going to be big. Everybody who is running the biggest assets under management, hello, they're now partnering with Securitize. And this guy, who is now our new SEC chair, sits on that board. All right. So you might want to look into that. You might want to do a little bit of digging and research into that. All right. So now, now that we got the new player that's in the game, this is a huge signal that I got to talk about. So we just hit within the last 48 hours, we just hit a brand new high for gold commodities. Now, we've been telling you guys about commodities for the longest. It just surpassed 34.31, right? Brand new all-time high. But this isn't just about having bragging rights, right, in your community circle, right? This is not just about shiny metals. This is a huge signal. The collapse of confidence in the United States dollar in a traditional financial system is letting you know people are literally moving out of certain markets and are going to what's safe. So this was a flight to commodities. All right. Here's what you guys need to know right now. So according to recent reports, this wasn't just like a random pump. This came right after Trump was ramping up pressure on the Federal Reserve, specifically Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Now, Trump has been demanding that Jerome Powell and the Fed they lower interest rates. And he was also at the same time launching a fresh wave of tariffs that was disrupting the global trade dynamics. So, in this order, Trump called Powell a major loser. Once that happened, and then he hinted at firing him, this launched a whole new level of uncertainty, right, in the United States economic policy. Then these remarks, paired with the tariff escalation, they rattled investor confidence. It weakened the dollar and it triggered everybody moving directly into gold. We saw the stock market lose 1.5. We saw cryptocurrency trade sideways and it went down. Everybody moved into gold. Now, I'm going to give you guys a fact. Since April 2nd, it's just 21 days ago, 3 weeks ago today, when the tariffs were announced, gold is already up 8% right now. And get this, it's already up another 30% since the start of the year, right? And analysts are also calling for an easy 3,500 in the short term. I've even heard talks about 10,000 per ounce of gold. Now, that could be speculation, that could be someone's opinion, but I guarantee a lot of the people who have been big gold bugs, who have been championing commodities, they know something. They know what's up. They see the writing on the wall. So basically, what does this tell us? This isn't just about hedging against inflation anymore. This is a warning shot. Gold is doing exactly what it's always done. It's telling the truth about a broken monetary system. And all of the institutions that's around, they know it exactly the same, right? Central banks all around the world, especially here in the US, they are buying gold in record amounts. Nations globally, they're hoarding it. And now, everyday retail investors, average people, they're waking up late, but late is better than never, all right? So, everybody that is here on this call with us, I know that there are multiple people that are Skyton Academy members. Inside of your membership, you guys have an array of real-time insights, access to exclusive courses on the gold, the silver, commodities, everything that's designed to help you guys move wisely in these uncertain times. So if you haven't done so already, and it's going to be in this description below of this video, you guys definitely need to get into Glint Pay. And again, for the members, you guys have courses on this. And we also have at cost metals where you guys are able to get wholesale prices basically on commodities with no middlemen, no premium, just real assets at real prices. All right. And I'll make sure that those links are below for you guys. All right. So if gold is hitting all-time highs, basically that means that the system is hitting all-time lows when it comes to trust. So don't just pay attention to these headlines. Actually own the hedge, guys. Because in this new era, gold isn't just a luxury. This is a necessity. Diversifying your portfolios is extremely important. And your access, your education, your advantage, it's all waiting for you inside Skyton Academy. So definitely, let's keep going, guys. And if you're not a member, stop what you're doing. Go ahead and click that link, skytonacademy.com. Join us today, $50 a month. And we want you guys to be a part of this life-changing community. All right. Now, speaking of gold, China is literally producing, this is the wildest thing I've seen. They're producing ATMs that literally convert your gold into fiat in real time. This is wild. And this is not a gimmick, right? These machines basically take your jewelry, melt it down, they verify the purity of it using these advanced sensors and things like that. And within 30 minutes, they deposit fiat value directly into your bank account. Now, most Americans are going to be like, that's insane. But let me break this down as to why this is actually genius, right? And why this matters. So, China is turning the gold into liquidity. They're not just hoarding the gold, they're enabling the masses to be able to move between hard assets and instant fiat, right? This is a silent strike against Western control mechanisms, right? The dollar is what has the dominance. Now, think about this. If other nations are able to get liquidity in their countries and they're turning this gold into instant liquidity, what are they able to do? They're able to reinvest it into other, other markets, other things, right? And that's helping them grow. Now, with this, they're preparing also for de-dollarization. Of course, they don't want to give the liquidity in the US dollar because they're trying to move away from it. So the more liquid gold becomes, the less dependent they are on the US dollar system. Remember, China's also been dumping US treasuries and stockpiling commodities all at the same time. So again, this isn't about tech, it's trust. So in this era where there's crazy counterfeits, there's inflation, and there's digital surveillance, gold is the new trust layer. And now the average citizen can interact with it in real time. So I'm gonna point something out in contrast. In China, gold is being made useful, accessible, and bankable. In the United States, it's still treated like a collectible, right? You still got taxes, regulations, there's certain barriers to entry. China is building a future system of asset-backed liquidity, and they're doing it while the West keeps printing money and playing defense. So this is not just about the East and the West. It's about who's building the future of finance and who's clinging to the past, right? The traditional ways, it's over, right? We're now in a new phase. There's a lot of new innovation that's happening, guys. So make sure you're keeping your thumb on the pulse, right? Don't just wait for us to give you guys some insights. Of course, we got you guys same time every week, but I want you guys to make sure you guys are staying on your toes. All right. Now, this next segment I want to go into. Now, a lot of people don't truly know the ramifications of this, and it's still unfolding because it's so fresh. But one of the most symbolic headlines for 2025 just happened. Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, he just officially stepped down and he retired at the age of 88. Now, this is bigger than just one man retiring. Schwab was the face and the founder of the World Economic Forum, but he was the architect of this great reset ideology. Have you ever heard of these quotes? You'll own nothing and be happy. By 2030, everything will be different. And quotes like stakeholder capitalism. These weren't just predictions, these were his plans, right? The World Economic Forum's goal was always to create a unified top down global system. These guys were globalists, period. And this is where governments, corporations, central banks, they all work together, basically shaping and controlling society. So here's a little bit of truth. Schwab stepped down. This signaled that there was a crack, a huge crack somewhere in the agenda, right? Not its end, but a lot of it being exposed. People are waking up. They're discovering what these globalists had in mind for the people. They noticed that it was unjust, it was unfair, people weren't going for it, and they're starting to rebel, right? And not just here in the United States, nations around the world were being impacted, and they're all starting to rebel. Citizens are truly waking up. People are waking up. This decentralized tech is disrupting all of their control levers, right? And more than ever, people are choosing sovereignty over being controlled. The World Economic Forum, they're going to try to continue without them. And they already got a replacement. It's the former CEO of Nestle. Um, and if you know anything about him, They just basically replaced him with someone in his exact likeness, right? But that symbolic power that Schwab left, that's a sign that the tide is actually turning, right? So we're getting out of that era of centralized trust all across the board, and we're entering into that distributed responsibility where everybody has their own autonomy, especially in the digital world, right? So this is your cue, each and every one of you out there. Prepare to lead in the world that they tried to control. And now it's up to you to have your own controls in place. Speaking of controls, here's something that I want to go over. There are four huge industry titans right now that just applied for bank licenses. Crypto literally just entered legacy finance, and I love it. Coinbase, beginner friendly cryptocurrency exchange. Circle, the company who utilizes USDC, right? The stable coin. BitGo, crypto exchange. Paxos, they all apply for bank licenses and charters. So let's really unpack that real quick. First off, this isn't some marketing move, right? This is strategic. These companies are all signaling they want direct access to the Federal Reserve's payment systems. They want to issue regulated stablecoins. They want to operate as a full service crypto native bank, legally, institutionally, and at scale. Here's a fun fact though. So while these guys, these four titans, just applied, guess who already did the work? There's one company in mind who just launched a stablecoin. The stablecoin is RLUSD. The company is Ripple. Ripple currently holds 50 money transmitter licenses, or MTLs, for those of you who don't know, across the United States. This is something most people have no clue about. This means they already can legally provide cross border payments, stablecoin services, and institutional liquidity right now without an approval. They don't have to wait. That's the key. When you are already positioned and you prepare in advance, you put yourself in a different light when everybody else is in a rear. Companies like Ripple, they're not just the only ones to exist, but Ripple is the shining star because what they've been doing is they've already been positioning themselves and working with countries, governments, central banks all across the world for this moment. This shows clear as day that Ripple is the leader, right? But I love what this means for the rest of the industry. So this could basically bring two different outcomes, and I'll give them to you real quick. This is going to be the rise of crypto banks, right? Where apps like Coinbase or Circle could actually replace your traditional bank. Or this could be the fall of smaller exchanges because compliance will become expensive. And only those that are well connected, that are well funded, that are heavy, have big baskets of capital. Only they're going to be the ones to survive. So we're basically headed into what I call the hybrid world, the hybrid era. This is where blockchain is going to meet banking regulations. And the only winners that I can really see, they're going to be the ones who will be able to navigate both of those lanes: tech innovation, compliance. While Coinbase and Circle are both making these big moves, Ripple already got the keys. So this isn't just what you would expect to see with just one company. Now you're seeing a multitude of companies and these big titans in this space. It's going to cause the signal, the warning shot that all these other uh, fintech companies, all these other cryptocurrency exchanges, they're going to start to do the exact same thing. Or they're going to have to integrate with the ones who have the ability to and the capital to. This is financial infrastructure. This is what we've been telling you guys about for the longest. So this right here, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of insight. Let's zoom out, right? You heard about gold being at all-time highs. Gold ATMs in China, World Economic Forum steps down, crypto companies trying to turn into banks. What's the pattern, right? How does all this kind of come together? The entire global financial system is being redesigned right now in front of your faces, quietly, strategically, but permanently. We're past the phase of if this could happen. It's happening. So here's the part that nobody tells you. So this isn't just about gold. This is not about Bitcoin being the store, quote unquote, the store of value. It's not about banking apps or token prices. This is about control, right? Liquidity, legacy, sovereignty. All these three things is what people don't truly focus on. They're not seeing it. They're caught up in the emotions of what's happening and they're riding on the roller coaster. But when you take a step back and you get to see the chessboard properly, you're seeing it. The people who thrive in this next chapter are going to be those who own real assets, not just spin papers, not just spin fiat. They understand these new rails and not just react to the headlines that's happening because there's going to be a lot of distractions while they're building. This just comes with the territory. And last but not least, they prepare before the shift is complete. This is exactly why Skyton Academy was built, right? You guys get access to all the tools, the education, the breakdowns ahead of the curve. You get it before the rest of the world is getting it. We're keeping our pulse on all of this information in real time. But all we can do is what we do. Because we're not here to hype it. We're not here to hold your hand. We're just here to prepare you guys for true leadership, true legacy, true wealth. But it all comes with understanding. And this is happening all simultaneously while the world around you looks like it's crumbling. But here's the truth. This isn't a collapse by any means. This is what you call the control reset. And those who know truly what's coming, they're going to be the ones to rise with it. Simple as day. So I say all that to say there's always going to be multiple moves being made every week. It feels like we're in a time warp. Somebody is just launching a new product, a new service, a new innovative tech that somebody is going to use. There's other countries around the world that's going to pour in billions and trillions of dollars in capital and investment to be able to build and have partnership, right? And be fully integrated with what we're building here. But for the past 6, 7 years, this has been going on here in the United States. This was the idea. The United States was supposed to be the hub of innovation, right? For cryptocurrency, for artificial intelligence. It got stifled. That innovation moved to another country because we were under true war. But now that those players are out of the way, you can almost feel it in the atmosphere, in the space, day by day as the news keeps rolling out. The black cloud is moving away from us. And that means that a lot of these players are coming here, back on shore. And if they're coming here, they're coming back for a reason. They're coming to build. Their only focus was to scale this industry and grow it the way it was supposed to be done over the past couple years. We're not 100% out of the war until we truly are. I think right now it feels like we're probably about 90% out. The SEC, they just took their thumbs off a couple more players today. They just announced that they're no longer pursuing Hex with that lawsuit that happened under the previous administration. And you're continuously seeing this. A couple DotConnects ago, we covered probably 7, 8 different lawsuits that they just took their thumbs off and they just said, listen, we're scrapping this. Tore the paper up, it's done. Go out here and go build. And when we have the clear rules of the road, you'll come in, you'll register, you'll do what you're supposed to do. We'll keep innovating, we'll keep growing. and then this industry will grow tremendously. So I honestly feel like right now, with all of these moves being made, there's far more to come. And you're also going to see a lot of things that don't look right, if you know what I mean. You're going to start to see more warfare with these other countries. This tariff thing, this cripples markets. But again, this is controlled demolition. They have to do this.
Yo,
Talk to me.
pass the mic, man.
Talk to
Pass
him.
the mic, man.
You got it? Talk to him.
Listen, you killed that. But I got to be practical.